Greetings, 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 everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Butterfly Transformations. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. For those of you who keep coming back as we grow very slowly, but yet we are still growing. Thank you for your love, your support, and your shares. Some of you join me on a couple of my other channels. Hello again to you. Excuse me for these braces. The bottom layer was just put on less than a day ago and it's driving me insane. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about karmic relationships. It is a popular topic and I get a lot of questions about karmic relationships in my practice. I get a lot of questions about twin flame relationships in my practice since having become familiar with them a few years ago. But the karmic relationships generally as a whole are the types of relationships that I think we all need to be ultra aware of because of the level at which we resonate with these people who are usually our karmics, and also the destructive path that these relationships can be. But in the final analysis, how we need to be able to see these relationships at the end of the day so that we can progress and learn what it is that we needed to have learned from that karmic relationship anyway. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And then there were a couple of questions, quite a few questions that I get from the channel and then offline through some of the other social media requests that I get that have to do with greater definity as it relates to these relationships. So I just wanted to at least address two of the questions to start with, and I'll do some additional videos. I wanted to talk about, first of all, what is a karmic relationship in the first place? What does it feel like? What is the purpose of a karmic relationship? And the importance of moving on from a karmic relationship. We have a soul family, so to speak, that we incarnate with when we come into this lifetime. First and foremost, we have to all understand that we make the choice to be here. We make the choice to incarnate in this lifetime. We make the choice down to the parents that we will have in the womb that we will come through, okay? The Creator in His mercy, not His, the Creator in the Creator's mercy gives us, we sign up for this, in other words. And so it's important to realize that whomever those soul counterparts are that you come into this reality with, all of those souls made a choice, and there were certain things that you decided you needed to learn in order to evolve. And so those members of your soul team, I'm going to say your soul team, each person decided how they were going to partake in your experience, okay? And so when you came in here, there's a destiny that has to do with the people that you would come into contact with and the various levels at which you would be assisted by those people in your evolutionary journey. And so it's important to realize that your karmic is a form of a soulmate, so to speak, okay? Meaning that this is a person that you will meet up with in this lifetime in order to resolve karma, in order to learn lessons, in order to evolve and move further up the vibrational chain. I was going to say stratosphere, okay, but let's keep it simple. Chain. So what happens is when you have someone that you come into contact with in this lifetime that is a soulmate, you can have various kinds of soulmate relationships, all right? They are when two souls meet, there is a connection that feels familiar. That can be a karmic relationship. It could be a twin flame relationship. You could meet your divine life partner. All right, those are some of the kinds of relationships that you can have. And each of those relationships has actual very distinctive hallmarks, very distinctive features that help you to identify what those relationships are. Now, I want to get the twin flame relationship out of the way really quickly, simply because that relationship has been really sensationalized and glorified in media. And I tend to have a less popular take on that particular relationship, because I see that relationship getting very much confused with the karmic relationship because of the heightened level of its dysfunction, which people tend to make it out to be as if it is a part of the twin flame journey. So first and foremost, I want to say most of the people that think they are twin flames are not twin flames, number one. Number two, the twin flame journey is a journey that very, very advanced souls earn, both of those people. And it has certain features to it that, although they may be somewhat conflictual going into the relationship, they should not persist and persist and persist and tear your life to shambles and run a tractor trailer through your life while you are still thinking that this is your twin flame and that you must put up with this and you must put up with that. That is not a twin flame relationship. I don't care what anybody tells you. That is a karmic relationship. So let's talk a little bit about the karmic relationship. What does the karmic relationship feel like? The karmic relationship, and most people have at least one, but multiple karmic relationships in their lifetime. But the interesting thing about the kind of karmic relationship that I'm talking about is a kind of karmic relationship that is here to teach you some of your greatest lessons. It's that karmic relationship that has such a great pull and impact on your energy and matches your energy, because let's face it, if it didn't, how could you get your greatest lesson, right? If it didn't. So it's that relationship that really takes you down through there, that you get caught up in because of the fact that there is a lesson that the other previous relationships, even if they were karmic, could not teach you. It is the lesson that will finally be, the straw that breaks the camel's back, that will allow you to move out of the vicious cycle that maybe you have been in, even in other relationships that could not teach you these lessons. It is that relationship, the mega karmic relationship, that will teach you the greatest lessons, that will cause you from that point on to up level in every relationship afterwards, and to know the signs of unhealthy relationships, but to most importantly really learn what it is to honor thyself and to love thyself. And that is because this relationship will pretty much take you through the ringer. Now think of it like this. If you had a major test that you wanted to pass in your life and you had no idea about the subject matter, you would be willing to pay the best tutor on the planet that you could afford in order to get the lessons that you needed to get, right? Yeah. So I want you to see the karmic relationship the same way. It is the relationship that matches your energy, the relationship that can go toe to toe with who you are fundamentally in terms of your energetic imprint, that allows you to easily align with that person and feel their energy and have extraordinary kinds of connections with them that perhaps you would not share with someone else. Now, I am not talking about the kinds of connections that you can share with the twin flame. Although they may be similar, there are some very significant differences. I'm talking about the kinds of connections that allow you to bypass and go deeper into places that maybe you were not able to go into with other people. I'm talking about the kind of connection that exposes the multitude of work that you still need to do, even though you might have thought that you had come to a place where you had done your work. I'm talking about the relationship that taxes you, that takes you down through there. So how does the karmic relationship do that? The karmic relationship, or the mega karmic relationship, serves as the mirror towards those triggers that you have that put you in a space that keep you in a deep sense of denial about the things that you need to address, the aspects of yourself that have yet to integrate into your conscious awareness so that you can manage them and so that you can make them a fluid part of your identity. In other words, the things that you run away from, the things that you don't want to see in yourself, the aspects of yourself that maybe you think have been healed that actually still need some work, the kind of work that only a real good toolsman with a serious, what do we call it, our repertoire, or our little military bag full of all the things that you need in it. only someone who has the tools that are just right for the job, you being the job, can actually do. So this person comes into your life, and when this person comes into your life, you feel a very strong pull to this person. You feel that you know them. It feels very familiar to a twin flame connection, because there may be some extenuating circumstances, but all you know is that when you come into this person's company, you feel a home feeling, sort of. You feel as though you know them, because you do know them, because you guys agreed to come here and do this work. So you definitely know them. Their soul imprint is very familiar. And so before you know it, you're caught up in a relationship that, before you realize it, has a push and pull type of dynamic, and a cyclical dynamic that is based in a lot of dysfunctional patterns. And it doesn't take very long for the newness or the novelty or the honeymoon period to wear off, for you to recognize that you're in something that feels good part of the time, you're in something that doesn't feel good part of the time, but it's as if that were not bad enough, that you're in something that is actually shaking you to the core, and it's pushing all of your buttons, the good ones and the not so good ones. So you're being triggered on various levels, and you can find this relationship very difficult to extricate yourself from. It can be very difficult to extricate yourself from, even though you can testify to the physical strain that it is creating in your life, the emotional drain that it is creating in your life, the spiritual malaise that it is bringing down upon you, and the mental disdain, if you will, that this relationship is causing in your life. Somehow, on some level, you can't let go of that situation. And the reason why you can't let go of that situation is because the lesson is not done. The same way you can't get your diploma unless you get all the credits. The same way you can't get out of the class and pass at the end of the year and get your course grade if you didn't do the work. So the relationship is here to whip your ass, literally. The relationship, I don't mean literally, but well, for some people, I guess it can be literally. But the relationship is here to take you down through the darkness of the depths of what it is that you must experience in order to then rise from the ashes like a phoenix and be on the other side of this situation, and having learned the lessons that you need to have learned, the world card. So when you're in this relationship, you find the push and pull dynamic, regardless of how dysfunctional the relationship is, it doesn't allow you to fully disengage yourself from that situation. And when you do, you notice that it comes back. It comes back. It comes back. And in between the space of when it comes back, you may be able to get your life together. But the minute the relationship circles back again, you may find yourself in a situation where it doesn't take long for things to start to fall apart again very quickly, and you end up in the same cycle again. And this is why it's so important to understand that this is not a twin flame relationship. A twin flame relationship does not deplete your bank account, take its toll on your health, show no gratitude in this lifetime, and hook you up with a person that is not growing at the level that you are growing and make it put you in a situation where you feel as though you too may be at opposite ends. Remember, one of the hallmarks of a twin flame relationship is that both people are, to some extent, in their power. Number one, they know who they are, and they're in an advanced stage of moving their soul's evolutionary purpose forward. Okay, so they have some basics intact. You're not going to see one person up here and one person down here. It's not going to work like that. What I mean is, on some level, you feel a sense of being equally yoked, not just from a spiritual standpoint, but from a material and a physical standpoint. Remember, we have to balance our energy. We have to be the bridge between worlds. We cannot reach our full spiritual potential if we're not grounded in material reality, and vice versa. If we're not grounded in material reality, if we're not grounded in our spiritual reality and power, we can't reach our material levels of abundance. We can't reach those necessary potentials. So it's important to understand that if you're pulling somebody out of the gutter and somebody is taking a toll on your health because they are depleting you and the relationship is abusive, or it is financially abusive, it is physically abusive, it is mentally and emotionally abusive, that is not your twin flame. I promise you, that is not your twin flame. And you may meet or feel as though you meet the majority of the criteria of a twin flame relationship, because they tell you there's this runner chaser nonsense. And what it has done is it has led to the idea that it is okay to be in a clearly and obviously dysfunctional, unhealthy relationship, and that because this person is your twin flame, you need to continue in this because you have a divine mission. But the interesting thing is neither one of you know what the divine mission is. Okay? Or if one of you does, the other one doesn't have a clue. So then they tell you that, and not to say that this is not the case at certain times, but then they tell you that one person is more spiritually advanced than the other person, which brings me to this comment here that I wanted to speak on today. Because my partner introduced me to spirituality in some ways, they dictated my understanding of twin flames, karmics, soulmates, and by extension, my entire spiritual journey. While they strengthened my connection with my quest for spirituality, everything was filtered through their own lens before I received it. So it can happen that a narcissistic individual can come into your space, somebody who is used to emotionally abusing other people, someone who has not materialized anything in their life, and they can come into your life and they can take you into a so-called spiritual journey because they have self-aggrandized themselves, or they have made themselves the spiritual guru, or they feel as though they happen to know a little bit more than you, or they do know more than you, and that's how they get you on board. And then what ends up happening is spiritual abuse. What ends up happening is a situation like this where they give you their side of the story and they tell you or they teach you about spirituality. Well, that's a relationship where the person, outside of the fact that they may be a karmic, their job was to introduce you to something. Just like you intercourse with people throughout your entire journey who take you to a place, they are with you for a reason and a season, and then they extricate themselves from your life. In this case, you have a person who has taken advantage of someone else and has been sort of a spiritual teacher in their life, but then because they themselves have not done the work and they themselves are not healthy and they themselves are not really grounded in their own spirituality, the situation ends up going down the tubes. So in this particular situation, the comment from the subscriber was saying that the video is a major paradigm shift for her, and that the person convinced her that it was a part of the twin flame connection. And if there's nothing else that you get out of this video, I want you to understand, when it's time for you to run, it's time for you to run. A karmic person can come into your life and teach you the most wonderful lesson of your life, because by the time you walk away from them, you are done. You know this was not the person for you. You can itemize the collateral damage. You can see the skeletons and the bodies and the carnage that you left behind, and you know what you have been through. All right? That, darling, is not a twin flame relationship. And when you leave that person, you better believe they will still be in the space they were in before you left them. So if someone is really, really draining you, they have a lot of negative energy, you can't seem to be a positive force for change in their life, they can't even do what they need to do for themselves, and they're leaning on you emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, as well as financially, this is a very, very negative karmic situation. You need to understand that the sole purpose of that person in your life is that they will stay in your life and they will whip you over the head until and unless it has been realized that you have learned the lesson that they came to teach you. And when you let them go, you will have learned that lesson. And I promise you, in time, you won't have any ill feelings, because you will recognize that they made you into the best person that you could possibly be. And that the mistakes that you made in that relationship, or the levels of discernment that you did not have prior to going into that situation, you are no longer in that situation. You are smarter, you are better, you are more wise, and you are more in your own power. So it is something that should feel good. But it is not a divine life partner, someone who's there to see you through your entire journey in a supportive fashion and be the one. It is not a twin flame relationship. It is not the type of soulmate relationship that brings something positive in your life and helps you grow and really resonates with who you are in terms of not bringing difficulties into your life. It's neither of those kinds of relationships. You are only to learn from that person. You are only to teach them more about themselves. They are only to teach you more about yourselves. And that's why the various levels of the complementary energy come into play, because they have to have the soul imprint in order to be able to teach you the various lessons that you need to learn. All right. So this is a beautiful, beautiful situation. And I won't say that you don't have twin flame situations that can be very, very, very similar. And part of that person's karma, or part of that person's destiny or your destiny, is for them to bring you to your knees so that you can still learn those lessons, but that relationship was never destined to be. The loving karmic relationship, which is not a loving relationship, in the end, is a relationship that is specifically designed to show you who you are and the work that still needs to be done. So make sure you understand that. There was another comment here I wanted to speak to, which had to do with cutting of the cords and the length of time that it can take to get through a situation like this. The subscriber said they tried to cut the cords, thought that was going to be, enough, but it was not. However, they do feel closer to getting to a space where they can kind of make that break. They are in a place where they're not as, the feelings are not as strong, and those urges are farther and fewer in between. So what I want to say about that is, when you have a relationship like this, it can be difficult to cut cords. And oftentimes it's that constant back and forth energy and the never changing dynamic of the situation that finally provides the straw that breaks the camel's back. But a lot of times people do find themselves needing to cut cords because these relationships can become distorted. They already are dysfunctional, and these relationships can become codependent. And in reality, they are codependent. Otherwise, they couldn't be so dysfunctional. So cutting of cords and doing a cord cutting ceremony, or doing one on your own, or going to a Reiki practitioner or some other kind of energy healer. I do that kind of work, as a matter of fact, or someone else who can help you go through a process and clear your energy, and then doing some follow-up clearings on your own is going to be a very healthy way to begin to pull your energy back. Because as long as you are still fiending for this individual, as long as you are still having urges, then they still have your energy. You still have their energy, and I can guarantee you that there's certain cords that are still running between you and that person. And if you were financially dependent upon that person, or they use money as a way to manipulate you, or they used your control, let's say, for example, they were narcissistic and they used that as a way to manipulate you, you better believe that you have multiple cords running from them to you. And it is a very real thing. I talk a lot on my channel and also in some of my classes about these soul contracts, these sexual contracts, these cord cuttings, and these ways that we allow people to come into our energy field without realizing that there is a spiritual consequence for doing so, and that there is an energetic reality that comes with allowing someone to come into your space. And they don't just get out because you just did a cord cutting. They don't just get out because you decide not to think about them again. You have to take a multifaceted approach that comes from various different aspects of the total human being, the total energy, in order to protect your energy field and in order to be able to begin to pull back some of your energy. So these things are very, very important. So I say this to make the final point that doing multiple rituals over a period of time is a very good way. Why? Because rituals help to reprogram our subconscious minds. It helps to rewire us. And the more we do something, the more like second nature it becomes, and the more the symbology begins to sink into our minds. And it provides a focal point for our energy. It gives us something to believe in. And just as a matter of fact, intention is extremely powerful. And when you are doing rituals from a spiritual standpoint and you're working with energy, you recognize that just because you can't see something does not mean that it does not exist. It doesn't matter. You can take the example of a mother that has a baby, and when that baby comes into the world, that umbilical cord is cut, right? Well, just because that umbilical cord is cut does not mean that the energetic cord has not been cut, has been cut as well. That cord has not been cut. So there is a cord that is always going to run from that mother to that child. And that's why you can hear stories about people who've given up their children for adoption, and they have a sense of where those children are, or when something happens to that child somewhere else before they are reunited, they have a sense that something has gone on because that connection is still alive. It is still alive, and it's no different than the child who comes up in a family where he or she has been adopted and does not feel a soul or a biological connection with that family. Well, somehow that child knows that they may not be a part of that family, or they feel different. So these are some of the blessings that we have when we come into this world with a biological family, and we share a womb space with those biological parents, and we share a common genetic makeup with those parents. So those things don't just go away. So the same is true when you allow anyone into your energy field. You swap fluids with them. You swap energy, you swap DNA, you allow them to deposit their energy release into you, and that has consequences. So in trying to break away from a situation that has been very, very karmic, just be patient with yourself. Make the necessary changes you need to make in your life. Have a level of resolve that can support the energy work that you're doing. But always remember, if you're having a particularly tough time, which is what the karmic relationship can actually cause, and it's not unusual that sometimes it takes more time and it can take more effort. Hopefully this video assisted you. I'm Tanisha Ali, helping you to gain clarity, up-level your mindset, heal and clear energetic blockages, and manifest the glory of God that is within you. If you have not purchased my book, it is a book of quotes, one for every day. It can be used as an oracle. Please make sure you get it. It is on Amazon. You can also purchase it on Barnes & Noble. You can get the digital copy, or you can get the hard copy. It's called Manifesting Your Masterpiece, okay? Up-leveling, self-coaching, and self-coaching and daily mindset reflections for up-leveling and living your best life. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day, and let me know what you are doing in the comment section that is helping you to move away from an energy that has been a great source of stress for you. Tell me, please, and share with me how good it feels to be free of something that you had no business being in the first place, but that you signed up for before you came here, and that ultimately you were able to free yourself from and step into your power. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.